Hello everyone, I'm Ms. Esther Mwini. I'm here today with Amara. She'll be taking us through AI and product design. And if you have questions, you can reach to us through the chat. And by the way, I apologize for the session being a few minutes late, but the good thing is that we have started. So I hope you enjoy the session. Amara, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, I would get straight to the point. Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, it's a live session. They cannot
Yes, I know.
exactly.
I know. I
Yeah.
was hoping they would drop like a comment in the
Oh,
but it's okay.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll go straight to the point. Like I said before, my name is Amarachi. Excuse me. I'm a product designer by profession. And I also am an AI professional, precisely both code and no code platforms. So today we'll be talking about artificial intelligence and the future of product design. And for starts, I would like to share my screen. Hope you guys can see my screen. So I take it you can see my screen. So like I was saying, today we'll be talking about artificial intelligence and the future of product design. So just as the name implies, we will be delving into product design. And I'm going to assume that I know that some of you guys are pretty new to this. I'm not going to assume that you are all professionals. So first of all, that's a table of content. Today we'll be discussing product design and the impact of artificial intelligence to product design. So from the table of content, we'll first of all look at what is product design, the definition, the purpose, the process, and the applications. Then I'll also introduce you guys to what is artificial intelligence. We'll look at the definition, the concept, the process, as well as the applications. And from there, we'll move on to the roles that AI can play in the process, in the product design process. Like, is it useful? And if it's useful, how is it useful? What kind of functions can it play, in the product design process? Okay, is it like something that can be adopted throughout the product design process, or perhaps at certain phases, or something that cannot even be adopted at all? So we're going to look at all this. in a short while. Then after that, we're going to look at a few applications of AI in product design. So without much ado, like I said, my name is Amarachi Omerife, and you guys are welcome to the show. Let's get started. So, so the first. Hello. Okay, sorry for that breaking transmission. All right, I'll go right back to it. I apologize for that. Um, let's first of all. Well, product design is the process of identifying a market opportunity, clearly defining a problem, developing proper solutions for that problem, and validating a solution with real users. So, in a sense, the product design process is not just about graphics, like some people might think of it. It's actually a problem-solving approach. Is a methodology for identifying a problem, proffering solution, testing that solution to see if it's viable to the very person that you are designing for. And of course, if it works for the persons, it solves the problems, they like it, they're good with it, then it's a go. Of course, we also have to consider business goals and objectives here, because product design does not just address the user, it also addresses the need of the business. Businesses make products not just to satisfy the needs of users, but also to meet their business goals. Their business goal could be brand awareness. It could be, of course, the typical, we want to make more money, rake in more profits and all that. And that's fine. Most businesses, as their preference solution, they also want to take back. That's how it works. So product design is a profession that is very broad. Product design in this case does not just address the user, it also addresses the needs of the business that brought the apps, the solution, the app, the website, or whatever it is in place in the first place. It addresses the need as well. As such, depending on the nature and complexity of the product, the process of design may involve dozens of professionals. Yes, it's not something that you do in isolation. Okay, it's something that may involve people who, of course, a lot of stakeholders. For instance, if we're designing, let's say, a phone, we're going to look at the people that we expect to use it. Are we looking at our market to be, say, 18 to 40 years, for instance? We're going to consider the views and opinions of the marketing specialists who are going to market this product when it's produced. We're looking at business analysts, their inputs. We're looking at engineers, strategy managers, user behavior researchers, and so many other people. Okay, So you see that it's a very broad system. Design is a very broad system. It's a complex, multi-step process, at the junction of engineering, management, and graphics. So product design provides, I would say, a very comprehensive understanding of what the final product would look like, feel like, as well as the tasks, and what kind of problems it's going to solve, who's going to use it. Okay, so that is basically product design in a nutshell. Okay, so let's try and summarize, what this is about. I don't know if you guys can see my screen, because
No, the screen is not
I would like
visible.
to share my screen here.
Okay. Amara, please share the screen again. Okay.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, now it's visible.
okay, I should share it again.
Oh, and kindly share your camera, the video, please.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't get it. I thought I already did. I thought I already did. Okay, can you see it now? Is it visible now? Is it visible
Yes,
now?
yes, the screen is visible.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll just go straight on. Okay. So now let's talk about the essence of product design. I already discussed this, but I will just give it a rundown. Okay. If you listen to what I said earlier, you would have already gotten these very points, that the whole idea here is to make products that are as delightful and easy to use as possible for the user. Is also the aim is also to make products that solve problems of the user. Yeah, it has to be easy for the user to use. I mean, in as much as it's solving a problem, it's not just there to be functional. It's also there to be easy and convenient for the user. I mean, if you just solve the basic problem, let's say a phone solve the basic problem of communication, for instance, but it's not at our convenience, we're not going to appreciate it that much. We're always going to want something that is there whenever we want it, and not something that we have to go a mile or two, to get it. It's not convenient. Okay. Because that means, for instance, what if there's a thunderstorm? There's a thunderstorm, we can't go there. We'll be stuck in the house. But when we need to communicate with somebody else, so the product phone is, I'm talking about smartphone, the one you have, most of us already have, is very convenient because we can use it anytime we want. It's at our beck and call. Okay, and it's easy to use. It solves the problem of communication amongst a host of other problems. Is a good example in this very situation. So to use, is also the essence of products is also to use the product, like I said, to meet the needs, the needs of the business, that the defined business objectives. Okay. So the next thing we're talking about is, what are the elements of product design? Okay. Formally, product design, can be divided into three, components, which are basically the appearance, the functionality, and of course the quality. Now, when we talk about the quality actually has to do with everything, such as the functionality, the appearance, and so many other things. I once read somewhere, I was in a class and they asked the question, what is quality? And people were just like, okay, how well the product functions, perhaps what is made of, maybe the cost, stuff like that. And, we were all guessing. And the instructor made a comment. He said, the way he defined quality, it just kind of stuck in my mind. He said, quality is how your user perceives your product. If your user perceives your product to be top notch, then it is high quality. It doesn't matter what you put in there. If they perceive it to be low quality, to be not, forgive my language, rubbish product, then by default it is poor quality, because the people you made it for don't appreciate it. So if they don't appreciate it, first of all, it doesn't meet the user's need. And if it doesn't meet the user's need, how is it going to meet the business goal? So on either ways, the quality is, it doesn't matter how much you put in there, the quality is already bad. Okay. So on either ways, the quality is, it doesn't matter how much you put in there, the quality is already bad. Okay. So to successfully create, a viable and competitive product, you will need to carefully work out the following factors. Number one is something attractive. Your product has to be attractive. It has to be modern. It has to be pleasing to the eye. That's all about it being attractive. Because if it's functional but it's ugly, people are not really going to like it. They're going to use it because maybe they don't have an alternative, or it's about the cheapest they can get, some very funny reason, but it's not going to be the first choice in their list. So, of course, the elements of product design still on that, the convenient functionality that effectively addresses the user pain points or achieves, the goals involved. There also should be maximum availability, high performance, and security for your product. Okay, let's move on to the process of product design. Now, if I kind of made it very simple because I want everybody to be carried along. Like I said before, I don't want to use ambiguous terms, and I don't want to sound very techy or anything of that sort. So this is kind of defined in a way that anybody and everybody can easily understand when they look at it. So the product design process involves, first of all, problem identification. You have to know that there is a problem. Okay? If you don't know that there is a problem, then there is no need for the other, steps. After you realize the problem, okay, you define it. Okay, you have to define what that problem is in order to get a better view of what the problem is. After that, you have to brainstorm. Now, brainstorm can be done in several ways. It can be done, just checking online. You can brainstorm with friends and stuff like that. We do that every day. When we seek a solution, we can ask friends to get their input on what this is or what this is not. And after you brainstorm, okay, you kind of section, but you can kind of bring up an idea through the brainstorming section. Okay, you can then research the idea, because even after brainstorming and idea generation, you really should research your idea, to get further insights on that. After that, you can do a sketch, just to give yourself a visual idea of what you're talking about, because sometimes an idea could look good, but when you start sketching and try to bring it to life, you may find out that it's not that good. And then if it's a goal, after the sketching, you can prototype and compile requirements and specifications. Compile requirements and specifications here is just determining what will be required in the process, okay, of the design. After that, you move on to produce samples that users can engage in. Why? You want to get their input. You want to get their input to know how good your idea, your prototype is. Is this something that looks good on paper, but when it is presented to the ideal user, there is a problem? Then you know that you just have to go back to your ideas and try something else. Okay. So after that, you test your samples, initiate production and development, as well as there has to be quality assurance here. There's always has to be testing to see if this is good or it's not good. So the next thing we're talking about is what is artificial intelligence. I'm not going to go too deep into that. I'm just going to define it and get you guys at least to understand what it is about. Now, artificial intelligence or AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence, that is, knowledge and understanding in machines that are programmed to think like humans and mimic our actions. What I'm trying to say is that machines are made to behave like humans. Okay? Simply put, it is a process that teaches machines to learn and understand the environment like humans in order to perform tasks. Okay? That in a smarter way. Okay? For instance, if it's something that I could do in, say, 3 days, the machine should be smart enough and fast enough to do it, without making mistakes, and perhaps even in 1 day. So that's what I mean by smart. It's not just about being faster. It also has to be good quality work. Okay? Because if the machine rushes through it and the job of 3 days is done in 1 day, but there are mistakes everywhere, then that's not smart. Okay? Because you're not going to use it and you're not going to appreciate it. Okay? So AI refers to systems that are able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. Such tasks are such tasks could be visual perception, that is seeing and understanding. You understand? Perceive something visually, speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages. Okay. For instance, if you want to speak with the Chinese person and you speak English, the Chinese man speaks Chinese, he doesn't speak English, you need somebody to translate. But a machine can do that because a machine can be taught to understand both English and Chinese. So it can communicate to not just you, but also the Chinese person. And you guys will have an effective communication just with the help of the machine without involving human effort. So there are branches of artificial intelligence, to machine learning and deep learning. We will not really be going into that. I just think it's necessary to point that out. Then, like I already mentioned, the concept of AI. AI works by combining large data sets with fast, iterative, that is frequent and repetitive process, okay, of intelligent algorithms. That is a set of rules allowing the software to learn automatically from patterns or features in the data. Simply put, this process is achieved by programming machines to learn to accurately recognize patterns. These patterns could be shapes, traits, okay, could be colors, and so many other things, which help them accurately identify and understand subjects. Okay, for instance, a machine can be taught to understand that this is a child. A machine can be taught to understand this is a woman and this is a man. Or a machine can be trained to understand that even though apple and orange may look similar in shape, no, this is an apple, and no, this is an orange. Okay, even though they look similar in terms of shape. Of course, there are technicalities involved, but we will not be covering that today. Okay, I just need you guys to be up to speed when I start discussing what it is. Excuse me. So the process, okay, of sorry. So the process of AI, of course, requires that a large input of data, okay, and then the data is stored, it is processed into actionable insights. This is just an overview, like I said before. I'm not going to go in depth because that's not not really our scope. So the inputs could be speech, it could be text, it could be context, it could be outcomes. Okay, it's kind of portrayed in this figure here. If you can see my screen here, So this is actually more of a joke. It's actually more of a joke. How to confuse the machine learning by giving it things that are very similar, things that are very similar, but they are not the same. Okay, so let's go straight to AI and the connection between the two. So now, can AI play useful role in design? Absolutely, of course. AI plays multiple but vital roles in especially product design functions. These roles include optimization, um, optimization of the design process, such as suggesting appropriate type. For instance, there are apps, there are functionalities, that suggest the right typography, colors, and fonts. Sometimes even designers struggle with this. Okay, they may be good with colors and font, and maybe good with colors and all that, but may not be very good with typography. A lot of people struggle with that. A good AI function can come to the rescue here. I think that there is even an app like that. It's called, I think called, is it Fonts Joy, stuff like that, that could help you, choose the appropriate typography for whatever purpose, your product is. For instance, a product or a product that is aimed at, how do I put it, vacation, the right type of right type of typography for that may not be the same with let's say an e-commerce. Okay, like an e-commerce app, it might be quite difficult, or even a school management application. No, they're quite different. Okay, and they may not exactly fit in, and a lot of people struggle with that, but an AI app could help with that very easily. So it helping you optimize your design process by not just suggesting certain elements, but also certain functions that could improve the process of your design and the eventual outcome and the performance of your app. Okay, this is just a very simple explanation. There's so many applications like that. AI also helps speed up the timing and duration of your design process by generating appropriate or suitable content. Yes, I believe Microsoft Azure does this. It has this function where it helps generate content for whatever you're writing. If, for instance, you're trying to put up a content for, say, an e-commerce, okay, I think Azure does that. There is also another one that is free that does that. It helps with such things. Another way AI is it plays a key role in design is provides graphical support for the design of the user interface. Okay, there are apps where, if for instance I'm looking for let's say a green sofa, and I'm having difficulty, getting it online. Maybe because the few ones I've seen, they're not free. I'm not allowed to use them. There are licensing issues. There are apps. There's an app where an AI app that could help generate that for you, get that for you free. Okay, you don't have to pay a dime. So you see that makes your work a whole lot easier, especially if that green sofa fits into what you're trying to, the content of your design is an important part of the content of your design. I know some of you may be interested in this. I think I do have a document containing such apps and such information. I could make it easily available. So another way AI plays a useful role in design is it helps you improve the user research via automated functions such as analytics, dashboard reports. You know, um, there are certain things people observed, and they observed this because there is an app that takes care of that. It's very simple. You find out that especially e-commerce apps, If you click on their logo, it takes you to the home page. Okay, some people, most of them do that. Why? Because based on analytics, it's been shown that most people, when they're confused, and e-commerce can really, really be a maze. You can, go through so many pages and get confused. You don't even know where you are anymore. Some people, when they're confused, like, okay, how do I get back to the home page? They click on the logo. The logo takes them back to the home page. These things were suggested by AI functions, were suggested by analytics and all that, that a certain number of percentage of persons keep clicking on that icon because they want to go to the homepage. As such, it was implemented to improve the user experience. Okay. Other things that the AI comes in is, apart from optimization and all that, automated tests, user feedbacks through automated chatbots, A/B tests, comparative analysis to help pinpoint customer needs and improve customer satisfaction. Now, people don't know that there are AI chatbots that are just there. They think sometimes that whenever they come online, that there is always somebody to answer them. But that feeling is really great because it makes you feel like somebody is giving you attention at any point in time. Okay, these are AI chatbots, and because of time difference, you know, if for instance a company is right here, people but definitely go to. There's a particular time that people will retire, go home, go to sleep. Okay, but when you have an AI chatbot there, it takes care of such things, and it always answer to people. So you see that these are, useful applications of AI in the product design and development process. So the next thing I would like us to discuss, based on this, what is the future of AI? I think that's the next question we should ask. What is the future of AI, and what is the future of product design? Is AI going to take over product design? Is AI going to be like, okay, that's it? We don't need designers, or we don't need other people to implement XYZ because the AI can very well do that. Well, AI definitely is always going to be there. It's going to be useful. It's going to improve the process, and it definitely increase the profitability of design, the business of design. That's the truth, whether we like it or not. So I don't see it as something that's going anywhere anytime soon. Rather, it is something that's going to be it's going to be integrated further in the future, and the people who embrace it are definitely going to reap more rewards, both financially and otherwise. There are articles by PricewaterhouseCoopers, that's PwC, McKinsey, and the rest of them on how companies have improved the quality as well as the profits of their design business by embracing AI. So does that mean that product designers and professionals in the design industry are not? Of course, they're always going to be there. That's for sure. You forget one thing: an AI function is trained to do one or two or three other things. It's not designed to take the product design process from scratch and to the very end. Whether you like it or not, the design strategy is not going to be done by a machine. That's the truth. It is not. It could do design functions, that's for sure. It could take care of improve the user experience, bring in elements, and improve the content strategy and stuff like that. But that's only as far as I see it going. Okay, AI is is a wonderful field, and I as a designer, I'm amazed because I see things that normally would take a lot of time, a lot of effort, but AI comes to the rescue. You don't have to go through all that trouble and all that pain because it is there. It is that good, and it is giving you good quality work that you probably would bend your back for days before you will achieve it. But what I see it happening in the future, and how it's most likely going to happen in the future, based on both research and all that, is that there'll be even more integration because, of course, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, technology integration is the buzzword now. Everybody's going into Every machine, every appliance is integrating stuff like IoT, that's Internet of Things, to make it more intelligent. That's an AI function, of course. And I see that being incorporated in the design functions and the processes and the apps that make things better. Figma is embracing that, XD is embracing that, and so much, and so many others. So that's definitely the future of product design here. It couldn't be, and for me, it's wonderful, it's great, it's something to be embraced, because it doesn't only solve problem for the designer, it also solves problem for the business. It's great for the business goals. Okay, but I don't see it replacing people, and I don't see it as something that is going to take over. Rather, it is something that is going to be improved and used by designers. So that definitely is the future of product design. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. If you have a question, you can just drop it on the chat.
Okay, you said that you don't think that AI will one day replace product design, but
Okay.
in the way that you are going, it's evident that one day will not be performing any duties because, okay, from the little I know about AI, it's artificial intelligence. It is about creating something that continues to learn in itself. So that means maybe is do you think there's a point where it will learn enough to be able to create, like, to design a product from scratch?
Okay. Sorry, I didn't get the question. There was some kind of static in there. I really am sorry. You may have to repeat. I apologize.
Okay. What
Mm.
I'm asking is, you've mentioned something about not believing that there'll come a time when product design will, AI will take over product design. But
Yes.
the current technology advancements and stuff,
Mm.
artificial intelligence has been about teaching machines how to learn for themselves. Like,
Yes.
so that means, do you think there's a point where it will reach that these machines will be able to learn how to design a product from scratch without human input? And yeah,
No.
no,
No, I'll tell you why.
uh-huh,
I'll give you an instance. When I did I was a beneficiary of this Google Developer Scholarship, and we were learning from what do call them again, front end masters. These guys are good. Like when they teach you, they were teaching JavaScript, and when they teach you, you'll be like amazed. They're really that good. And he made a comment that kind of stuck to me. He said that I think Java, you know, either Java or JavaScript, one of them was actually written, and the idea was that machines could be able to code by themselves. Well, guess what? That never happened. They still can't code for themselves. So if they could code, then bye bye to all people who code. There'll be no need for them. You understand where I'm coming from? That is
oh
one.
yeah.
There'll be no need for people. What are we paying them for if the machine can do that? Okay. Now, whether you like it or not, the machine is learning from us. That is what people have to understand. The machine is not doing what we cannot do. It is doing what we can do in a smarter way. I don't even understand where I'm coming from. So it
Yeah,
is not like whatever the machine is doing, people can do it. The problem is the manpower required and the timing, and the resources. If you say, okay, let's do it the manual way, okay, it's just like how we can sit here today and do a transfer, from my bank to perhaps a bank in Kenya, stuff like that. Doesn't mean we can't give it somebody and the person will take flight or you know, it's just that the process, if you involve a human being, is very tedious. Okay. And what
yeah.
these machines are doing are just number one, you're teaching them what you already know. The way they learn is the way we learn. That's what you have to remember. They learn the way we learn. The difference is the timing and the speed of the implementation. It takes you a long time to understand. For instance, if you see somebody now, you can be able to guess, okay, this is a white person, this is a black person, and stuff like that. This is a Chinese person. Why? Because even if you've never traveled abroad, you've seen enough of them in movies, you've seen enough of them that come to your country, okay? You've been exposed to them one way or another. And that is why you already have an opinion of what a Chinese man would look like. You already have an opinion of what a white person should look like. You already have an opinion of perhaps what an Indian would look like. In your head, you always set those rules. Okay? So what happens here is that, for instance, if I want a machine to understand what a woman looks like, or what, I will constantly expose that machine to countless inputs like images, pictures, stuff like that. Bombard that machine with different pictures of women, be they black women, white women, different color, different races, irrespective of the age. Why? The machine from there is learning patterns. That is how we learn too. Okay? When
Yeah,
a child is growing, when a child is growing up, you're like, I remember I had a neighbor then. He had a boy, and whenever he sees me wearing earrings, he wants to wear earrings. The mom will say no. He say why? The mom will tell me because women wear earrings, men don't wear earrings. He say, but me, I'm not a man, I'm a boy. I would laugh. You understand? So it's someone like that. Initially, the machines as they're learning, they're gonna make mistakes. But the beauty of this thing is that they keep feeding them this input. It's just the way you program a human being, okay, to live a life like this and to be like this and that. That is what they do to the machine. There's no difference. The difference is how it is happening. In the case of a human being, is as you interact with your environment, you take your time. The machine does not have that leverage of years and years to learn. So what probably took you 10 years to learn, the machine has to learn it in probably a day or less. Okay? Why? Because they have enough information, they have enough pictures, they have enough data, they have enough voices and all that to teach the machine, okay, this voice sounds like the voice of somebody who is angry, but this voice sounds like the voice of somebody who is happy, or this sounds like the voice of most likely a woman who is scared. You understand? Or somebody who is suffering or stuff like that. Why? Because they keep exposing these machines to that particular kind of voice until it recognizes what a pattern. It's the same way we learn. Okay? You keep hearing the voice of people who are crying, and then you understand when next you hear it, this person must be crying because he or she is what? In pain. That pain could be physical, it could be emotional, whatever it is. It's something you have to investigate, but you establish what? That this person is crying because he or she is what? In pain. And based on the voice, you can even denote it's probably a man or it's probably a woman. It's the same thing here. The difference is this is fed like you don't have any other thing. Guy, receive this message. You continue, look at it until you understand. Unlike in case of human being, where you're given time to learn. Because this is their purpose. If their purpose is speech recognition, they are exposed to various voices, sounds, and all that, so that they could, understand that particular pattern. Okay? So that's just the same way we learn is the way they learn. That's what people forget. They are fed the same similar information. The difference is the frequency and the speed at which they are fed. Okay? That's just it. So it's not like we have learned something we have not learned. That's what I always point out to people. They have not learned anything we have not learned. They are learning the same thing we're learning. They're doing the same thing we can do. The difference is they are doing it faster, they're doing it smarter, and because, for instance, if you have a human being work for an entire day, the person is going to get tired, and it's going to affect his cognitive function. It's going to affect the output in general, the quality of the output. But that may not be the case for the machine. Okay, it may go much longer hours. So the machines here are kind of leveraging on our weaknesses, and the weakness being how fast we can deploy, how accurately we can work for hours and hours. The machine does not need a tea break. It doesn't need a bathroom break and stuff like that. So that's just it. That's why they are employed mostly for optimization and, improving stuffs and stuff like that. So when they say it's gonna take over, I'm not really convinced. The only people who are doing a super, they call it a super machine in the sense that it's gonna have a cognitive function, not in a particular area, but almost all around. I think you call it super machine. I think it's IBM from what I gathered. But even at this point, it's not yet completed. I think they're from how it was described. I think they're trying to do a replica of not exactly a replica, but that has the functionalities and the capabilities of Terminator,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
movie
yeah.
Terminator. Yeah, stuff
Mhm.
like that. It's kind of inspired. It's kind of an inspiration, okay, for that. I really don't know. I don't know so much about it because it seems like a covert operation. They're not telling everybody and stuff like that. So I don't know much about it. But in my machine learning class, we pointed out that fact, and because most AI applications, they are usually specialized for one, two, or three, kind of stuff. Apart from the ones that are for an enterprise function, what I mean by that, they're really robust, they're really big, and as such, they kind of sell it like the one of IBM or Microsoft Azure machine learning, stuff like that. Aside that, most apps you get, for instance, they are just specialized, for instance, an AI that could help you with generating content, and that's what it does, or an AI that could help you with creating logos and colors. Basically, that's that. So it is specialized in that field, and that's what it does. Like, oh, is the king there, but beyond that, no. But of course, I also believe that AWS has something that has can be applied in multiple ways for coding and for other stuffs. But the truth of the matter is that the human function, it still cannot function without the human, will I call it intervention? Okay, it just makes it easier. It just makes it easier for you. That's just it.
Oh
So
yeah,
no.
yeah. Okay, okay. I just think the fear is always created by the horror science fiction,
My
movies.
dear,
Ones.
you're not alone. You're not alone. I was like,
Oh yeah.
please, I do not need the next Genesis. Yeah, no,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
please, I
That's
do not. I don't need it. In fact, when I'm in my AI class, the first question I asked, say, please, oh, do we have anything close to Terminator?
oh.
Do we?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it as a movie, but I don't want it in real life.
Nothing in real life. Oh,
You just
that's
stay there.
true.
You stay
Mhm.
there. So yeah, yeah. So I'm happy to know I'm not the only one who has that. Who is bothered
Okay.
about that?
I think it's almost everyone has that fear. Okay, okay.
Well, so far we're not
So
there yet.
wow, thank God.
Mm.
uh, so how did you get into product design?
Okay. Well, first of all, in all honesty, it
Mm-hmm.
was I was just curious. Okay, I was curious, and I have a friend who was already into the product design part, and he does great designs. He does great articles and stuff like that. And I asked him, "How did you get in?" He said, "Oh, that he started learning product design from Coursera." I'm like, "Okay, I went to Coursera." I said, "Ah, me, I can't pay this amount." So he said, "Ah, no, don't worry. There's a way we do it." I know he taught me how to get they call it financial aid from Coursera. So I learned from California Institute of Art. I think they call CalArt. That was my real first exposure, in all honesty, to UI UX. When I completed that, I was like, wow, I like this. Okay, so then HNG internship came up and I joined in. That was the last year, I7. After that, what else did I do? Okay, with JFA internship, I got involved, but I didn't really finish that one because along the way, I got a job, okay, where I was practicing for product design and program management. I'm sorry, yeah, product management. So from there, I now, because I still wanted to improve, I took a course with Utiva. So, when I finished with Utiva, then they were running a promo. I'm trying to tell you how I got involved in AI. They were running a promo, and when I they said, okay, because of this promo, you're entitled to a free course on Azure machine learning. I was like, oh wow, nice. So after I finished my product design, I got involved in the class and I really, really enjoyed it. They had great hands, they had professionals. I was really impressed, and that was what, like, I'm interested. As luck will have it, I was still working then. I just was about to finish my Google Developer scholarship because it runs, I think, end of the year or thereabout. So then I think, was it Andela? They were doing this ALX stuff where you choose a path, then get free Microsoft certification. It could be in product, it could be in machine learning, or what's the other one? As your administrator. So I chose the AI part. But presently, I work as a product designer, okay, and which means I get to practice, very regularly. I get to have my work critiqued, and I get to have my work used. And apart from that, during my free time, I volunteer. Actually, I volunteered during what do you call it? This Arewa FSI is actually for is actually a hackathon, but concentrated on women. Initially, I was not part of the team. They needed a product designer, so they reached out to me on the Shecode platform. Or rather, I reached out to them because I saw them asking for team members and what they wanted, and then I said, okay, no problem. I joined them. I handled the product design part of it, okay, and did a prototype for them, which they used to develop the product. And no, we did not win. We did not win in the hackathon, but we did go far. We did get to the finals, but we did not win. Apart from that, I also joined in during this UN. I've forgotten the name again. Is a UN, actually is a hackathon, but is geared. The idea is for people to produce apps that actually target apps that solve a problem that is relevant to the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. Um, so we chose apart from the adject from the they actually picked up some of their SDG goals that they felt are kind of relevant, such as zero hunger and stuff like that. So we chose the food section, precisely on food distribution, food sourcing and distribution. I handled the entire product design phase, and we didn't get to the finals. But even though we were about 3,000 there, we did get to the first 100. But in the end, the beauty, the takeaway there is that we attracted the attention of African Chamber of Digital Commerce. They liked our product, they liked the whole concept, and they came up and said, "Hey, we're going to sponsor this." And we developed it. The app is on Google Play. I don't think we've not done the one for iOS. For now, is just an Android app, and we've launched it, and we're correcting a few bugs because we realized there are some bugs. But as I speak with you, it's on Play Store. So, like I said, I still work as a product designer. So for me, it's a journey. Yeah, definitely. I don't see it as a destination. It's a journey because there are always going to be milestones. There are always going to be achievements. There are always going to be improvements. There is never really a time I'm going to say, "Oh, I'm done." Maybe I'll be done when I'm dead. So that's just it. That's how I got
Yeah,
in, and that's how I'm still there.
yeah. Okay. I'm always told that learning never stops. So yeah,
No,
still
it doesn't.
going. So and it's a really nice journey. Okay.
Thank you.
There's some people who want to get into product design, but maybe they
Okay,
cannot afford to go to school or something like that. Do you have any
okay.
advice for them, like from where they
Mm,
can learn resources,
well,
maybe?
yeah, I didn't learn product design in school. I didn't learn in school. That's not what I studied
Oh,
in school. So yeah, it's not what I studied in school. I studied, chemical engineering. It's not what I studied in school. So what I'll tell people is there are so many places. I believe Google right now has an offer UX design. They're offering for free. They're a rooftop scholarship. I've introduced a lot of people to that. So if they want to, I think that offer is still in my inbox. I can forward it to, I don't know, maybe if you have people you want to give it to, or people who wish to reach out, I'll gladly do that. Apart from that, Coursera is there. You can learn from Coursera. You can learn from Udemy. Although not every one of them is that good, but with what I know now, I'm not going to pay a dime to learn UI UX, to learn product design. That's the truth. Because, like I said, I know how to. Okay. I'd rather go to Coursera. Is a wonderful platform to learn because they have lots of courses that are being taught by professionals, and the structure, how the whole thing is modeled, they don't assume you know anything. That's the beauty of it. They don't assume that you're a professional. They teach you like, how do I be, like you're a baby. They give you your baby steps, and they take you up from there. From hello, this is what it means, this is the practical application and stuff like that. So CALAS, that's California Institute of Arts, they have a UI UX. I think it has like 5 modules. Yes. you know so you can opt for Sarah. Like I said, Google is offering a free UX training right now. Training and at the end of the day, you get a professional certificate, endorsed by Google. So that's another good one they can leverage on right now without paying a dime. What it just costs them is their time, and their attention. So they can use that. Well, that one is really great too. I really really like it, and it takes you from the basics, like the baby steps up. So I really recommend that too. There are other options like what's the name of this guy again? That they are really good on precisely on Udemy. That I've seen. There are lots of them that are good. You know, Balco, yeah, he's really good, and I really really enjoy his teaching. So if they want to learn product design from Udemy, it's not that it's going to cost them money, but they can wait. If they want to pay for that one, they can wait when they're doing a promo and pay about $10 or so. You know, so that's just what I would advise the person to do. But if it's me, I wouldn't go for that. Rob Sutcliffe is also good. He has some really good. He's good, both his teaching and all that. But those ones are not free on Udemy. They're not free. If they want a free option, I would very much recommend they go for this Google one. It's still ongoing right now. I've been sending it to friends the link because it's in my box, and if they're interested in that one, that is one. If they don't want that one, they can always browse through Coursera, apply for financial aid. Just that they will have to wait for 15 days, before they get approval. So unlike this Google one, if you apply and they're looking for people, so so most likely they will accept you. Yeah, there are no requirements. They're not going to ask you, oh, are you a graduate? Are you this? It doesn't matter. What they need is your dedication, and you could get that. Of course, it will require some effort. Personally, it took me like 2 months to finish it because I work. Although they said you should leave aside like 6 months, but I think that's just an overkill. 6 months is just too much for that. If you're serious, that's how I see it. Well, most people will finish it in 3-4 months at the most, But that's what I would strongly recommend the Google Professional Certificate that's ongoing right now. I think they have that for both UX design, they have for project management, data analytics, IT fundamentals. So they can leverage that. It's a good one. It's free, and they could, go at their own pace. So that's what I would strongly recommend. So I don't know if I have any question.
Okay, there's no other question. I believe that's it. That's every
Okay.
question that people had. And
Okay.
yes,
Okay. All right.
okay.
If there's no
So
other
thank you
question,
very much for today's session. It was
you're
very
welcome.
informative. I learned a lot personally.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
Okay. And if anyone wants the resources that she mentioned, you can reach to us through our email account and we'll send them to you. And yes, that is it for today. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
And
you too.
have an amazing night.
You too. Good night. Bye.